Okay, now I think maybe we're properly connected here now. I don't know. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not. Nobody's told me if anybody can hear me or not. So I'm just kind of standing by here waiting to hear from my engineer to see if somebody can hear me. Okay, I think I can hear my engineer somewhere in the background talking, but I'm not sure what she's saying. So anyway, it is 14 minutes after the hour here on Wednesday, the 15th day of August. And this is John Moore. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I think I figured out what was going on, and we're now live. Well, we're going to skip Stan Deyo and his Earth changes. There's a lot of stuff there that is certainly worth looking at, as there is every morning, Monday through Friday. We're going to talk about something, just kind of nuts and bolts preparedness, and about the topic of firearms and optics and related topics. This is something that I'm more qualified to talk about than many. I'm not an expert. I work with experts, men who are involved in cutting-edge research and development involving firearms and optics and projectiles and so forth. If you want to defend innocent human life and you want to defend property, the best way to do it is with firearms. And when it comes to firearms, rifles or carbines are the best way to do that. Shotguns come next and pistols come last. Pistols are about the least useful firearm when it comes to defending innocent human life and property. Talk a little bit about calibers. When it comes to rifles, the best caliber is the .308, which is also the .7.62 NATO. That is the best caliber. You can stand it off 600, 800, even 1,000 yards away, 10 football fields away, and defend innocent life and property with a 7.62 NATO round. In the hands of a trained marksman, a man or a woman, it is a very effective round, and properly used, you can meet and defeat hostile threats from 1,000 yards away. Your enemy is most likely either not going to have that capability because they're lacking that caliber, or they won't have the skill, even if they did have that caliber. There's not many riflemen or riflewomen that can accurately shoot a high-powered rifle from 1,000 yards away. The rifleman's rifle, as far as I'm concerned, as far as a battle rifle, is the M14 or the M1A Springfield. That is the best all-around battle rifle that there is. There's an excellent book. I don't sell it, but you can pick up a used copy off eBay. Amazon probably. It may be available on Kindle, I don't know. Boston's Gun Bible by Boston Tea Party. That's a pseudonym, a pen name, which this author's been using way before the Tea Party movement began. You want the revised edition with the extra 200 new pages. This is the way the pages aren't numbered sequentially, but it's about 500 or 600 pages, softbound book, and he compares with great detail all the major battle rifles, and the M14 comes out on top for a number of reasons. I won't go into all the reasons why, but it's a combination of accuracy. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Wednesday the 15th, and we do have a caller on hold here, and that is Chris in California. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, John. I just wanted to touch bases on what you were talking about as far as for, the ammunition and stuff like that. Does it really make a difference?
The caliber, you mean?
Yes, there you go.
Oh, yes, absolutely it does. It's a huge thing. There's, besides the excellent ballistic characteristics of the 308 or 7.62 NATO, it is a standard issue military caliber, which means ammunition is going to be a lot easier to get during a long-term crisis. One of the things that happens in any war, I'll give you a good example, Chris, where I was in Vietnam, down in the Mekong Delta. The Army couldn't supply us with new boots when we needed them, new uniforms when we need them, socks. I mean, simple stuff that the Army supply system should have got for us was very difficult to get. And one day, this Vietnamese sergeant came by, and he introduced himself, and he offered to get anything we needed in exchange for cigarettes, particularly Salem cigarettes. We never knew his real name, didn't have to. We called him Black Market Charlie. and if I needed a new pair of jungle boots, he would come around, he would take our orders, write it down, and he would come back a few days later with the new boots, brand new boots, never worn, in the exact size I needed. I would give him a carton of Salem cigarettes, and he smiled and was happy. I smiled and was happy, and we both went our separate ways. Point being, in any kind of long-term crisis, there's going to be a lot of black market activity. That's another reason to get the 308. Yes, it makes a huge difference. The standard issue military U.S. Army caliber, the 5.56 NATO, 400 yards is about the max for that caliber, and most most soldiers are incapable of shooting accurately past 100 or 200 yards. They simply don't have the training, they don't have the skill, and out to 400 yards and more, it's hopeless. It is absolutely hopeless for them to hit anything, and the round itself loses so much of its strength past 400 yards that it's pretty useless. Okay?
That's good to know. You know, can I touch on one more base?
Sure, please.
Yesterday?
Go ahead.
You know what? The two gentlemen that were on the phone yesterday were talking about the earthquakes and stuff like that in California and stuff. That is very true about the 5.1 or 5.3 earthquake. They on the USG they did have it, and then all of a sudden they deleted it.
Right.
I was kind of amazed about that.
Well, they're doing two things, Chris. They're downgrading earthquakes. The initial reporting is an automated system that human beings don't touch. So they downgrade the automated reporting and then frequently just eliminate altogether. But I need to give you a heads up here, and everybody. The Department of Defense is getting people away from California right now. I've
been very aware of that type. Like I said, I just started listening to your show. And one more thing, too. You know, I look at YouTube to, try to get some updates here and there and here. And I've noticed they've actually started cutting out a lot of websites as well.
Department of Defense websites?
No, just like in YouTube, like say, for example, like your shows are posted on YouTube and stuff like that. And, I could go on and look at it and stuff in regards to like Nibiru and all that, they're no longer accessible.
I wasn't aware of that. Well,
yeah,
okay.
It was, yesterday. I was kind of like, are these the signs that John's been talking about now?
Okay, well, but thank you for the call, Chris. The word I'm getting from inside people is the Department of Defense is getting people out of California right now and sending them to other bases and sending them on leave. There's a great concern that in the next few days there's going to be a major earthquake in California. The San Andreas Fault cutting loose.
Yeah, I know. I've been paying attention to all these earthquakes that have been happening every day. Even though they're small, like 2.5, 3.4, I see them, and it looks like something's about to happen.
It does. And we do thank you for your call, Chris.
Thank you.
We need to move on
Have
here.
a good day.
Okay. And let's see if we can get one more call in before the bottom of the hour. Brian in Maine. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, John. The size and the mass of the inbound object is going to influence the severity of adverse effects.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, it's really critical to know the mass when planning for these effects. At this point, does anyone know what size the inbound object is or its mass?
Well, I can tell you for a fact that JPL knows, which is connected to NASA, of course. They're not talking. Dr. Robert Harrington, supervising astronomer, United States Naval Observatory, 20-plus years ago said it was 3 to 5 times the size of Earth with a far larger iron-nickel core. And that's the best information I've got.
Okay. Back on the 25th of July, it might have been Mike Harris reported that the inbound object was explained to him by one of his contacts as being about the size of the moon.
Well, that would be a very small rock compared to Earth. You know, not that it's, I mean, the moon, which is 250,000 miles away, is strong enough to make all the oceans on the planet go up every 12 hours and down every 12 hours. So,
yes.
That's interesting. We need to move along here. Appreciate the call. Okay, thank you. And we got our break. We'll be back after the break. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Wednesday, the 15th of August. And Freeze Dry Guys, August special is the limited time overstock sale alert, long-range patrol rations. These are Oriental-style chicken and rice. I'll tell you, we're out in the bush and you're hot and cold and are wet and are dehydrated or thirsty, whatever it might be. A good hot meal is something that really perks you up and gives you a good attitude. And that's what these meals can do for you when you're out in the bush and you just really need a good pick-me-up. There's 20 meals to a case, $132 normal price, on sale for $120 per case. 2 cases, or I should say 3 cases, $345, 5 cases, $545. And that's for a limited time only, as long as they last. We don't know how long these will last. He's the only source to get these things in the country, by the way. So check it out, freezedryguy.com. There's a link to my website, thelibertyman.com. Toll-free order line is 866-404-3663. And my website is thelibertyman.com. That's where you'll find my best-selling DVD, Global Warming, What the Government Isn't Telling You. You'll find the Faraday bags for sale. It's a great way to protect your cell phones, laptops, radio and communications equipment, the Faraday bags. I'm shipping them all over the planet at this point in time. I do have a toll-free order line, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 800-592-9543. I say again, 800-592-9543. My next speaking engagement is a week from Friday. That'll be Friday the 24th at Ziggy's Restaurant in Springfield, Missouri. There's 3 different Ziggy's. This is the one at Sunshine and Glenstone, 5:30 p.m., no cover charge. They do serve a good meal there at a very reasonable price. I'll be speaking on EMP and the effects of an EMP attack on the United States. That's Friday the 24th of August. The Labor Day weekend, the 1st and 2nd of September, we have a symposium at the Viburnum, Missouri Country Club. There'll be, we're firming up the list of speakers. I'll be speaking. We're going to have Command Sergeant Major Page. We're going to have Don Rabin speaking about tactical rifle marksmanship. And we'll have a gentleman speaking on emergency communications, a licensed ham radio operator. And we'll have another man speaking on the topic of emergency trauma, medical treatment. It'll be a great weekend. It can be a family event. There's a swimming pool there, $3 a person to swim, golf course, motel nearby, a couple of camping campgrounds nearby with full hookups. And we're going to get something posted on my website, hopefully in the next few days about that, so we have more details with phone numbers and so forth for the campground. We do have a bunch of callers on hold. I want to touch on a couple of things before we get back to the callers. The AR-15 has become incredibly popular with young marksmen. It's kind of a sexy little carbine. I don't particularly care for it myself. I own an AR-15, and I own a couple, let's see, I think I own 3 carbines in the .223 caliber. It's an excellent caliber for women, teenage boys, and men who've been injured. It's a great caliber for women, teenage boys, and men who've been injured. It really is. And that's what it's good for. For a healthy male who's got the full strength of a healthy male, you could do a lot better. The 308 is the way to go. The M1 carbine is another favorite of mine. It's a great defensive weapon, out to 100 yards, very effective man stopper. The muzzle energy is the same as the .44 Magnum pistol. As the old saying goes, the M1 carbine is not much of a rifle, but it's one hell of a pistol. Out to 100 yards for defensive purposes, it's a great little piece. Very dependable, a lot more dependable and reliable than the AR-15 will ever be. And one more thing, night vision. Almost half of every day is night. Close to it, depending on what time of year it is. Obviously, in the winter, we have longer nights. There's no substitute for good quality night vision. There simply isn't. Now, some people do naturally have better night vision than others, on one hand. On the other, getting night vision now is something you can do. After a crisis begins, good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck. The best place I found to buy all kinds of optics is online, opticsplanet.com. That's opticsplanet.com. They have just about every kind of optic you can imagine, binoculars, rifle scopes, night vision, night binoculars, range finders, and so forth. opticsplanet.com. When it comes to night vision, the more money you spend, the better it gets. Entry level is first generation. That's Vietnam era stuff. It's better than nothing. Second gen or second gen plus is a little bit better. Third gen, now you're getting into some serious good quality night vision there. Another option would be thermal imaging. Thermal imaging can see through smoke, can see through dust, can even see through light camouflage, depending on what it is. And so that might be another consideration there. Now let's just get back to these calls. They are stacking up pretty well here, and we've got John in Florida. Good morning, John. Hello, John. Is John there? Okay. I guess John isn't there, and we'll go on to, let's see, Brian in Maine. Brian in Maine. Did we get to Brian? Brian in Maine. Okay. Okay, Pete in Florida. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to touch base with you. I was listening yesterday, and, I'm concerned with these earthquakes, too. And I heard your caller just a few, on your last session there. I went to Google like I was told, like your caller said, and I went to Google Earthquake 3D. It's awesome. I've got it set for what earthquakes have happened in the past 24 hours, and it tells the magnitude of it. It's got the rings, how far it's spread out. Very informative. That's what I like about listening to you, is things that come out, things that we need to know. This is great. I want to say, I know you like your military guns, but I'm a son of a redneck, South Florida redneck. My dad took me out hunting when I was a kid. For hunting or for killing up to 100 yards, I use a 30-06 semi-auto. Out to 200 yards and on out. I mean, I'm deadly at 200 yards with a 270 semi-auto.
Right.
That's what I grew up with.
Right.
And as far as military, I'm afraid because I don't know what to get, how it'll shoot. But I've been a deer hunter all my life, and I'm, like I said, I'm deadly with the 270 at 200
right.
yards. Anything past that, I can probably barely see them because I'm 53, and eyesight isn't 20/20 anymore. So,
that's where optics come in. Optics can make up the difference for you.
Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. But like I said, that's Earthquake 3D. Anybody out there wants to know anything about earthquakes, it's great. The screensaver is great, and it shows you all the way around the world. It really works good. But again,
okay.
John, I'd like to thank you for being online, or on the air and online. You're a great source of information where we can all network and plan.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Okay,
yes,
thank you for the call, Pete.
Have a great morning, John.
Thank you. Ted in Florida. Good morning, Ted.
How are you doing? Good morning, John.
Good morning. This is Dr. Ted, isn't it?
This is he. I was letting you know that I just got a video in this morning that shows a massive amount of tank deployments through California. There's a train
or movement of tanks.
I don't know. It's a train that is completely covered in U.S. military tanks.
Right.
Right.
That video has been widely circulated. What we believe, Ted, is that they're moving those tanks, armored personnel carriers, and so forth, away from the coast to high ground. That's what we think is going on.
Wow, because I saw the video this morning on it, and I was going to also comment about the .223 caliber and the .308. The .223 is a good weapon, but it's not, like you said, it's not a true knockdown weapon. The .308 is a much more effective weapon. My son just bought a SCAR 17, and I don't know if you're familiar with that particular weapon or not, but it's the new NATO issue of the .308, and it's a phenomenal piece of equipment, and it's just simply.
I'd like to get a chance to shoot it. Ted, I got a question for you. You're on my list of people to call today. You may not be able to answer this question off the top of your head, but I know you could probably find the answer. In the event of a long-term crisis, people will no longer be able to get their prescription pharmaceutical products. Here's the question. What's the percentage of Americans who need a prescription pharmaceutical product to stay alive, and what's the percentage that take them to have an enhanced or better life as opposed to the life they would have without taking that prescription medication?
That's an excellent question, John. In fact, let me go back to some history here real quickly. Remember back in World War II Germany, when all the German scientists and all the German doctors were pushed to the front lines or pushed into the research laboratories, and they basically had no medical care and no availability of prescription drugs for the latter portion of the war. Life expectancy for the folks that actually stopped taking the drugs actually went up. The drugs have so many compounded side effects. There are a lot of drugs out there right now that are so bad for you that they're causing a lot of additional problems. Let me give you an example. Statin drugs, I loathe statin drugs. I've written multiple emails and newsletters on statin drugs and how bad they are for you. Statin drugs have been shown to increase to cause high blood pressure, to cause diabetes.
What do statin drugs do? Give us
I'm sorry, John. They lower cholesterol, and the biggest problem with cholesterol is this. And again, I don't really want to make everything sound like a conspiracy, but pretty much everything's turning into just some kind of weird thing you have to ask questions about. But years ago, if you had a 250 cholesterol rating, if you were a man, that was considered extremely healthy. And they lowered it now to under 200. And what ends up happening is when you go under 200 with your cholesterol, all disease rates go up, including heart disease, diabetes, particularly cancer. Plus, at under 200, it's almost impossible for the male to manufacture testosterone. So what ends up happening is you feminize men. We basically get rid of their will and their drive by putting their cholesterol under 200 because they can't manufacture testosterone. Now, a full 25% of all men over the age of 40 are being given statin drugs. The biggest problem with them is they cause a condition called skeletal muscle necrosis, which means your muscle tissue actually starts to rot in some cases. This can get inside of the kidneys and cause kidney damage. That's why one of the primary causes of high blood pressure.
Ted, everything you're saying is true, and I love what you're saying. Here's the question. What's the percentage of Americans that would die if they were cut off from their prescription pharmaceutical products?
It depends on the combination of the different drugs they've been given, John. If they're on a plethora of 14 or 15 different drugs, no one really knows. If they're on simply statin drugs, it's probably not going to affect them. If they're on high blood pressure medicine, it's probably not going to affect them.
What about diabetics who take insulin?
If you're adult onset diabetic stage 2, you change your diet, 90% reduction of any type of insulin problems. Most people who are diabetic can be completely taken off insulin without any problems with stage 2 if they change their diet. Stage 1, you're going to be dead within a week probably.
Okay, well there's the answer right there, and that I'm looking for. Ted, I appreciate your call. We have a stack of callers here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
Okay, and Mike in Connecticut. Good morning, Mike.
How are you today?
Good.
I was wondering if you've seen that the Fox News video with the UFOs over, they call it a UFO over Antarctica?
No, I have not.
It looks like they're trying to say it's a weather balloon, but it's a perfectly circled object in the back of the sky that's sitting over their laboratories out in Antarctica.
Well, I've seen that image. It wasn't really I guess it was a video. It looked like a time-lapse thing.
They actually released it on Fox News last night. And I was kind of shocked to see it, because I'd probably seen it before it came out. I watched it on the internet like 4 days ago. I was wondering what you thought about. You think that's anything or no?
Well, who says it's a weather balloon?
That's what it says in the article when you read the article.
Oh, okay. It says it's weather balloon. Okay. It looked pretty big to be a weather balloon to me. Weather balloons can be pretty good size, but I really don't. I mean, I don't know what to say. The image is there, and you can make of it whatever you want to make of it.
And then my brother works at Sikorsky, and he told me to ask you. A few years ago, did the United States sign a treaty with Canada that they could come down, like how you're talking about the Russians too?
There is your brother's right. The U.S. and Canada did engage in a treaty to allow our forces to cross borders in time of national crisis. That's true.
Okay. And the last question I have for you is, why would the United States agree to have Russia basically come take over our country if we're in the middle of a crisis? Because that's what it seems like.
Well, we have treason going on in the White House with Hussein Obama agreeing to bring these troops in. Our military is being told they're being brought here for training, and when the crisis begins, the president will ask them to help us out in our time of need. That's what's going to happen. And
releasing all this information, which I'm very appreciative of you, do you get nervous that they might be listening to you and keying in on you to kind of quiet you down?
Well, whatever. I don't have any control over what they do. I guess after I was shot at about 12 times in one day in Vietnam, I kind of lost the fears that normal people have. So I'm a warrior. I mean, warriors have a different attitude towards life and towards what they do. And I am a warrior, and they can give it their best shot, and they know what they're up against. So we'll see.
My father was in Vietnam until he got drafted there.
Understood. Well, anything else right now, Mike?
No, you have a great day, sir.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
And we got Bill in Michigan. We got a break coming up. Bill, proceed.
Okay, I'll hold on, or should I?
Let's get started. Let's go.
Okay, last night we were listening to Hagman and Hagman, and had a guest on there that said all the U.S. Observatories are closed. They're not releasing any information out of those areas.
Well, I'm going to talk to I'm going to talk to Jim McCanny today. If that's in fact happening, that's very, very serious.
Yeah.
And that would be. Professor McCanny can easily confirm that one way or the other. If that in fact is happening, we all need to be very, very concerned.
Yeah. The second comment was we had
and Hagman are known to put out good information. I have a lot of respect for their work.
You should try to get on their show and be a guest on their show.
I do plenty of radio as it is. I may be there, but I'm not worried about being there one way or the other, Bill. Anything else?
Yeah, I'll wait till after the break.
Okay, hold on to the break. We got a break. Everybody stay tuned. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. This is J.R. Moore. It is Wednesday the 15th. Before we get back to Bill, my friend Command Sergeant Major Page recommends, and I concur with him, that one of the best survival rifles you can get is the Ruger 10-22, 22 long rifle, semi-automatic carbine. I recommend that you get one. Get about at least 4 or 5 factory magazines, not these extended things. They're not reliable and they're not strong enough. Plain old 10-round factory mags, and at least 5,000 rounds of good quality 22 long rifle ammunition. That will stand you in good stead. The Eskimo Scouts that we worked with in Special Forces have killed every animal, including polar bears and grizzly bears, with the 22 long rifle. So it's an excellent little caliber, and it will carry you a long way. And Bill, what else is on your mind, sir?
Which is, we didn't hear the beginning of your show, but when you came on, there was a sense of urgency in your voice. I was wondering if you can do a really quick recap on what we might have missed, and I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Well, the first 14 minutes we had technical difficulties, so there was no show. And yes, there is a sense of urgency in my voice. I'll be meeting with my local chief of police, and the next day or so we'll be talking about the threat of EMP and talking about these Russian troops that we verified from so many independent sources that there's no doubt that the Russian troops are here and arriving in great numbers, probably beginning tomorrow. No doubt whatsoever. These men are not our friends. They may look like us. Many of them are Caucasians. They have a lot of Asians. They may speak English with a neutral Nebraska accent, but they're not here to help us. They're here to take over. Don't fool yourselves. This is a foreign occupying military force. And the last time this happened was 1812, 200 years ago, when the Brits came back and tried to regain what they lost. So yes, there is concern in my voice. And yes, you should be making diligent and prudent preparations right now while you can. Getting a high quality gravity feed water filter while you can would be well advised. Getting ammunition while you can. And if there's a martial law situation, ammunition sales will be shut down in a heartbeat. Weapon sales shut down immediately. Whatever you need to get, you better be getting it. The time for procrastination is over. Good quality communications equipment that need to come from out of town, you better be getting it. Whatever you have when the balloon goes up, as we say, that's a term that goes back to the Civil War when they had observation hot air balloons, by the way. When the balloon goes up, whatever you got's what you got. So I'm scrambling around myself to make last-minute preparations. I've been guilty of procrastination, and so I'm getting all the empty spots in my preparedness filled up with what they need to be filled up with. You know, if I go by a Walmart, I'll stop by and pick up 1,000 rounds of .22 ammunition. I don't even know how much .22 ammunition I've got. I got a lot, and I recommend that you get a lot. It'll be a great barter item if nothing else. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. You all be safe out there. Do buy lots of ammunition. The code words for those who are behind enemy lines. Check out page 54 of the Green Book. Be safe, and God bless America.
Paul Drockton with Drockton Bullion is trying to secure your financial future. Silver is up 1,000% over the last